Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Aluminum Tarot. I'm going to try to record this for the second time. For some reason, things kept freezing up on the camera. Well, what I wanted to talk about today was, kind of take a step back from everything that, I normally do on the channel, which is delivering tarot readings. And one of the things that I wanted to speak about specifically, regarding tarot in general, and especially in today's online tarot community, is the fact that I don't really do a lot of love readings. And there's a very specific reason for this. The main reason why I do not like to do a lot of tarot card readings that focus ostensibly on love and romance is because of my outlook on love and romance. Now, I tend to take a very Schopenhauerian approach to love, and this insinuates that I like to focus on the joys of solitude, being in your own energy, looking at romance and love with a critical eye, and making sure that people are doing the same, so that way they can actually heal and understand the true nature of romance as it is in the modern age. And for me, I think that there's a reason why the first recording completely cocked up, because maybe there was something else I needed to do, and maybe something else that I needed to say in delivering this message. So one of the things I think about, and I'm just going to go right off the cuff when it comes to this, is that there are several reasons why I don't like to do online tarot readings that focus too much on love. And especially week after week doing this type of, reading, to me, I think is a bit excessive. And furthermore, it does more harm than good. So starting with the first thing, I don't see love as a way of being happy being with someone else. Love is a reflective quality of human existence. And I say this specifically because it deals with the realm of Venus. And Venus is the personification or the reflection of a set of value, a set of use value, right? And not to over-intellectualize it, but I think it needs to be said that when you are in a love relationship, that relationship actually reflects your own nature. So the type of things that you're willing to tolerate demonstrate the amount of value that you have for yourself. And it works very much the same way that currency exchanges take place, or even, delineating the value of a specific currency. We ask ourselves, what backs a currency? What backs money? It's, is it gold? Is it silver? Is it Bitcoin? Is it something like that? What is the use value of that love? And in the same with a love relationship, what is the underlying asset for it? Is it codependency? Is it need, want, a sense of lack, a sense of low self-worth? Or is it genuine love? Is it the love that you're actually putting within yourself that allows you to step into a specific frequency to attract the right person? So far too often, what I see with a lot of people, in the tarot community, is that they're feeding the monster of low self-worth and low self-esteem. And what this does, while this generates a substantially larger audience for tarot card readings, I feel that what it does, underhandedly, it undercuts the spiritual development of a lot of people who are tuning into those readings. And I see this in the way that people look at their relationships and they say, is an ex coming back? When is he coming back? When is she coming back? I love that person. I don't want to let them go. And this is devil energy. This is strong devil energy. And the devil is actually sitting on that black box of Saturn, looking at, the audience and saying, well, you can easily escape at any time that you want. And the chains that bind you are so loose, they're almost comically around their neck as a kind of lead, not even a lead, a dog lead or a dog leash for those in the United States, is that loose. So one of the things we have to understand is that when we're are looking at the way love is presented in these tarot card readings, they are not doing anything specifically to fully help the person undergo shadow work and to realize what kind of things they need to see about themselves in the reflection of that relationship. And for those who cannot self-reflect, they become vampires. Vampires do not cast a reflection in the mirror. Therefore, they cannot reflect on their stance and their person, their person in real time. They can only see their desire, their bloodlust, their craze for something outside of themselves, which is the life force of another individual. So this is the first thing that I think about. People with low self-worth or who are trying to navigate the problems as to why a repeat cycle, such as a bad relationship or failed relationship, keeps taking place in their life. It happens for numerous reasons. Number one, when you are overgiving, when you are too nice, when you are too accommodating, the universe can only send you someone that does the opposite. So they are too selfish, too greedy, too codependent, and this forms a tie in which the person who is trying to understand the dynamics of that relationship, they always say it's the empath and the narcissist. The empath and the narcissist are the exact same individual. The empath needs external validation that what they are doing in life is right by helping someone who is in such a bad way that they are they're negative throughout. But it is by latching onto that person and thinking that you can change them is a God complex. It's a savior complex, and that is a narcissistic quality and a narcissistic trait. And people who call themselves empath because they feel that they are chosen people, I think that is a very delusional way to approach love relationships. Furthermore, the narcissist, on the other hand, is nothing more than a counterbalance to people who have existed in extremes, as opposed to being able to enter a healthy relationship because of their actual vibrational frequency. And despite, even if you have a high vibration, if you want to say that, it is important for us to know how to spend that energy wisely, because it is a currency. Your time, your energy, your attention, all of these things are a part of the currency that you spend in your time with other people, your relationships. And therefore, if you reflect in a relationship that you're in and you find that what you're spending your time and energy on, your resources, your value, and you're not getting a healthy return on investment, meaning that you're being too demanding in one way, or if you're being bullied or censored or invalidated in another way, like in the narcissistic relationship. This then tells you that the tarot card reading, the only purpose that it should serve is actually highlighting and illuminating that specific quality within you, to see how you're supposed to overcome the difficulty, how you're supposed to do the shadow work, and how you're supposed to release the negative, toxic qualities and emotions even that you have felt for someone who you feel has wronged you. Because that is how we grow spiritually. We're not going to be able to do this by pining in limerence for someone else. And limerence specifically is all about not being able to get over someone because you have a distorted rose-tinted glasses viewpoint of that person, when in fact that person is a toxic individual that you have to release and learn from. That is the primary reason why they come into your life. And if you do not get the lesson, if you do not understand the meaning of the lesson, then you are forced to repeat it. Those who forget their history are doomed to repeat it. That is a long-standing maxim, throughout our time. And it is very true in relationships. That is the primary reason why we have those types of relationships. And what I think about oftentimes when people enter relationships and then they start to seek out these tarot card readings, they have to be able to go and do the shadow work that is essential for transmuting the experiences from those negative relationships. So, for example, when I met my twin flame, a few years back, it triggered in me some very intense emotions that I could not explain. And what that taught me was not necessarily that I was supposed to be with that woman, but it taught me that I was supposed to learn from the experiences of the woman. And in essence, the intense emotions that I felt for her at the time were supposed to pull me into my spiritual process, which allowed me to start doing three things. And this is something that has been explained quite well from, Rich Lopp's channel, which I think is an incredible channel, very informative and insightful, very educational for learning about, energy dynamics. This is one person that I've learned from quite a bit. Number one, you are supposed to acknowledge and accept what happened in a toxic relationship. You are then supposed to go in and do the shadow work. So that is the descent into the dark night of the soul, where you piece together, you understand, you sit with, and you feel the emotions that you felt so that you can release them. And then in that third part, which is after the release, then you then start to go in and you accept and show gratitude for the experience. So rather than saying to the universe, why did this happen? This is horrible. I was treated horribly. I need to find someone that's going to treat me better. Instead, you say, thank you for this experience, universe. I am very happy, grateful, and thankful that you were able to teach me and guide me using this powerful but painful experience. And now that I have understood my lesson, I will try to internalize the results of my findings so that I can become a better person and evolve. And this is the way that we can look at those tarot card readings and say to ourselves, where are the lessons and how do I use them to make myself a more individuated self? Like when you talk about Jungian psychology, the individuation process is you facing the shadow, those two things clashing, merging together, and then finally you become an authentic whole individual. This is also very strong and a very important part of Black Moon Lilith, which I talk about with Adama Sesay's work with the Black Moon Lilith Oracle deck, which I like to use quite a bit. It is important that if we find those lessons out and then we incorporate them into our lives, that is how those relationships become a positive asset and a force for good rather than a force for bondage. One thing I will say about, online tarot readings is that, especially in the YouTube community and in my personal life, when you become heavily dependent on searching for the one or the right person, that feeds into the codependency that is innate within you, which you have to break free from. It is not about finding the one. It is about it is about discovering yourself, unveiling yourself, revealing who your true nature and what your true nature and your true essence is. This in turn allows you to become an individuated, authenticated person. And then after that, you attract the right person. It is not about finding the one or when is the right person coming into my life and so on and so on. The right person enters your life when you finally vibrate on a frequency that you can find them. And rather than casting your net in the Dead Sea where you're not going to find any fish, you upgrade, you go into the Mariana Trench and you just get whatever you need. You will have the abundance that you need once you get on the right vibration and frequency to do so. And then you won't need to search for them. They'll come to you because you will pull them like a magnet. Instead of going into the haystack to find a needle, you will then just grab a magnet and you can then just easily find that needle in the entire haystack. That is the whole purpose. And so additionally, the one thing, and this is my personal opinion about my own life and how love relationships have basically influenced me. They taught me, number one, you are never left unwhole. You are never you're never an unfinished product, in the sense that all that you need is within, which means that you'll have to learn how to sit with yourself. And it means that you'll need to learn how to reflect, as the hermit does so after their chasing period and fighting really hard to achieve that which they're trying to achieve, which is, reflected in the Chariot, which is, the start of the journey. And then after that, it is the Strength card, which is number 8. And then after that, you go to number 9. So you sit with the energy of reflection, of searching for the light, which is the star, which is the guidance from the divine. And then after that, we emerge. That's when the Wheel of Fortune kicks in. After the Hermit phase, that's card number 10. A failure to understand that you have to rectify the energetic misalignments in your life through your relationships. That is when you get into the cycle of codependency, which is the Devil card. And that's when you have those repeat tower moments. Because the only thing that trumps the Devil is the Tower card. The Tower comes after that. You have card 15, I believe it's 16 is the Tower. And so by doing that, you can break the cycle. That's what the Tower is for. It's to break the cycle of devil energy, getting those chains off your neck and forcing you to look towards that guiding light, where you then step into the Star card, card number 17. One thing I can just say, I'll try to wrap this up. So if the recording does cock out on me, I believe that the human race has gotten to a point, and without resorting to like red pill content buzzwords and all that shit, we have to learn that the qualities and the characteristics that we have sought in people outside of ourselves. And for many women, that can be like the tingles, as they call it, oh my God, he turned me on and all that shit because he's a bad boy, right? Chasing the bad boys will get you nowhere. And furthermore, it says a lot about the types of relationships that have been forged in an individual's life when they chase toxic people. It means that they are bored with peace and stability and therefore cannot find happiness. When you are not at peace, you are at war. And those who chase the tingles are constantly at war with themselves and, the people around them. So it will never be enough. They will never be satisfied. And whoever gives them peace, they will push them away. And that is a strong quality and characteristic of borderline personality disorder. I won't go on that tirade tonight because that's a whole another case to explore. And I think maybe Dr. Ramani Deshugala, I think she's probably the better person to speak about that with, or to learn from that. All I can say is that personally, when we seek chaos, we'll get more chaos. And the fact that many people, especially women, are getting bored in the dating scene because men are not giving them the excitement, the rush, the tingles, it just goes to show that, our dating system is going to do several things. It will kill off the population. It will make people more miserable, and it will destroy the economy. I'll leave that also for another day because I can go on for ages about that. Just remember this. When you are seeking love, all that you need to know about it is within. And in my personal experience, I had to get to the point where I was so enamored with my own energy and being able to sit with myself and be in solitude. I mean, I am a Virgo moon. It makes it a lot easier for me to do that. And furthermore, it's quite enjoyable to just wander, explore places without having to worry about anyone. And when you get to the point where you're so addicted to your solitude and your independence, not fierce independence, not toxic independence, like I don't need no man or I don't need no woman or anything like that. Or when you become receptive to the idea that someone new could come into your life, but you are at the point where you cultivate the boundaries and the sense of self needed to push away toxic individuals and to accept the people who will be good for you, you will have serendipitous moments where you'll finally find the right person, and you'll meet them and you'll just be like, I wasn't looking in the first place, but let's build this slowly. Additionally, you will be so in love with your life and the value that you have invested in yourself to the point where you don't want anyone to fuck that up. And I mean that with 100% certainty. In my personal life, the next woman that I invite into my life, for example, I do not want anyone that is going to be a net burden or liability. They should be a net positive and contributor to my life, and vice versa. I would want to contribute to her life equally. And if that day never comes, I can at least say I live my life to the fullest every single day as much as I can, and that nothing is wasted. However, in the sense that, someone new comes in, if that ever happens, who knows, you can at least say to yourself that when you finally do meet the one, if there is a one, or you meet a good quality match, this person needs to be at the point where they can actually mesh well with your own energies rather than taking away from it. When you feel that energy vampire trying to latch onto you, the first thing you're going to do is cut them out. And when the right person comes along and their energy is well matched with yours and well versed with yours, you will be able to be a sea together. You will be drops in the same sea rather than a parasite on a host. And that's it. That's the reason why I don't do a lot of tarot card readings that focus too much on love. I do this to focus on healing, understanding, and illumination, so that in the future, you won't even be looking for love because it will always be there with you. And not in an arrogant way, not in a way that cultivates the ego, but in a way that gives you a sense of joy and pride in the work that you've done in your shadow work. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks so much. I mean, this has been Aluminum Tarot, just having a little bit of a fireside chat with you without the fireside, which is the fireplace is over here. But yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate you sitting there with my rambles, and maybe there was a reason why this message needed to record again, so I could just kind of articulate my ideas and thoughts a bit better than I did previously. And I suppose be less judgmental because we've all been there. But I will say this. My policy on tarot card readings that revolve around love is that if it comes into the reading and it needs to be highlighted, that's fine. Otherwise, I think it's very, very important that people build their unique individual self. So that way, love will be always around you. And you can fall in love with life and the universe again, instead of seeking it in a specific set of people who do nothing more than drive the insatiable urge to find something better. in today's day and age, in 2025, we need these types of messages more now than ever, because I think that if we don't turn this around and help people to heal, we're absolutely fucked. And I say that with 100% brutal honesty on my end. I think that men and women and partners in general are in two completely different camps, chained to the black box of Saturn by their own egos and their ignorance. They live in a veil of ignorance, and it's the reason why I do call my channel Aluminum Tarot is because, like many light workers, we want to shed light on those issues, and we've had to use our gifts and talents to break ourselves out of that same veil of ignorance. So that's going to be it. Thanks so much. Until next time, love and light. Take care.